Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Jade Williams, aka Jada Moon the Disco Witch, and I'm 27 years old, and I'm an artist and designer working in and around the Chicago area. So, to give you a little bit of background on me, I did my undergraduate degree at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. I studied sculpture with minors in art history and business, as well as a brief fashion design certificate at Central St. Martin's in London. And then last year, I graduated from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago with a post-baccalaureate certificate in fiber and material studies. So for the last 3 or so years, I have been researching space as a concept, and specifically the question, if this is such a safe space, then why do I feel the need to be saved? I've just really been investigating the ways in which I have the agency to claim or hold or create space within a society that doesn't always want me to as a Black woman. So to kind of further that investigation, I was working as a merchandiser, kind of creating these displays that reflect the ideals that I have and the values that I have. I've been leading self-care and meditation workshops. I've worked as a set designer, textile designer. Specifically with my textile practice, I've been infusing imagery of Black women and Black culture into traditional textile patterns. And ultimately, to sum up my practice, I'd say I use the illusionary aesthetics, or at least that's what I call them, of Afrofuturism, extraterrestrials, disco, the 70s and 80s, to talk about the themes of access, excess, escapism, and visibility in relation to Black female bodies. And it's really those themes that kind of landed me on the conception of what is now the Black Bloom Project. So last year when I was working on my final project for my post-bac certificate, I was reading Alice Walker's In Search of Our Mother's Gardens. And the project I was working on was called The Magical Negress of Manifestations Monday Night Glow Up. Yeah, it's a mouthful. So with that project, I had embellished this peacock style rattan chair, and I was screen printing an original illustration onto this sort of Asian inspired brocade like fabric, and my goal ultimately was try to fuse the imagery together and kind of make it seem like which one came first. But the fabric had this really ornate pink and red and purple floral pattern in the background, and I just had this dream of wanting to place this chair with these textiles that I had made in this bed of red and pink and purple handmade flowers. And I'm such a perfectionist, and it's I have to make the flowers myself. If I can't use real flowers, I have to make them myself. After spending that summer researching and healing and doing more self-discovery and experimentation, I came up with this idea to do a 3-part project that would be part installation, part performance, and part short film. And it was going to be called I Went in Search of My Mother's Garden and Suddenly I Bloomed. And as soon as I kind of was getting underway with that project, the quarantine happened. And of course, with that, most galleries and art spaces in the city had to take a break. And so I didn't want to just fully stop working on that project because I felt like it was already, almost a year in the making, and I had already put so much work into it. And based off of where I was at in my personal life, it felt like the time to do it. And so I was trying to figure out alternative ways, maybe I'll set the installation up outside, just trying to figure out other ways that I could make it work and still get the same message across that I was going for. And it was almost like divine timing one night while I was sitting there researching for the project, and I was also going through social media, and I kept seeing things about how Breonna Taylor's case was getting buried, and how there's so many women who have been victims of police brutality whose stories have not gotten the same attention as men, or as the men who have been victims. And it sort of hit me in that moment from seeing the phrase, they're trying to bury her case, they're trying to bury Breonna's case. Thank you to whoever tweeted that. I was just wow, I can use my project and put it towards something that's greater than me, which is now the Black Bloom Project. So the Black Bloom Project, if you're looking for a phrase to encompass it, is a mission and movement and, a dream that'll hopefully be brought to a phantasmic reality with your help. It'll be a series of fiber-based installations that I am calling Bloomscapes. They will be somewhat, towers and like garden-like spaces that will serve as safe havens for Black women and women of color to kind of come together and work on our healing and creativity as individuals as well as a collective. So for the first installation, my team and I would like to create a memorial tower called Black Purple Bloom. The tower will be kind of traveling around in different places throughout Chicago that are high traffic in order to kind of bring visibility and awareness to the cases of women who have been victims of police brutality, and their stories just have not gotten the same amount of coverage from the media, and their cases haven't been, fully brought to justice. The tower will be, again, made of fabric, featuring a pattern that I have designed, and each tower, well, I shouldn't say each tower within the Bloom Project as a whole, but as well as this specific tower for Black Purple Bloom, will be embellished with handmade flowers that my team and I, as well as workshop participants, will be creating. Ultimately, I am hoping that we can do these workshops, which I'm calling garden parties, to kind of give everyone a chance to come together and create something that'll act a little bit like part art therapy as well as part like philanthropic, and really just, have a good time together and have some really needed conversations with each other. But if that is not able to happen in person, then the plan is to kind of shift to do things digitally and send out kits that have all of the materials needed and do sort of like a virtual workshop. But either way, I still plan to have the tower be displayed within high traffic areas across the city of Chicago. So that's my story, that's my project, and I just really thank you guys for even giving me the opportunity to share what I'm doing with you, and I really look forward to hearing from you. You can follow me at Sex in the Studio on Instagram as well as Twitter, and then you can follow this project, the Black Bloom Project, on Instagram at the Black Bloom Project. Thanks again.